Good night, afternoon, everybody. It's your boy Aaron B, and welcome back to Tacos and Touchdown Live. And we have a great show, Cowboys versus Commanders preview show. And we have a special guest tonight, host of the Sports PSP podcast with over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and always dropping weekly content. My guy, Sports PSP. How's it going on, bro?
Good, man. How you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So one of our first questions I always like to ask our guests, since it's tacos and touchdown, do you have like a favorite taco spot?
Um, well, I live in Jersey, so the best spot that I go to is Benji's. That's in West Orange. I live in South Orange,
Okay.
so I order their food. I get all their good tacos, burritos, quesadillas, some good Mexican food. Mexican food is like one of my favorite foods to eat. So if you're looking for a good spot in Essex County, I would recommend Benji's.
Okay. And what's your like your go to thing to get on the menu?
Regarding tacos,
Yeah.
yeah, meat, cheddar cheese, onions, lettuce, some tomatoes, some onions, all that good stuff. And then on the side, you gotta have some rice and beans with it and some chips. And then to wash it down, either a cool beer or something.
Hey, you got me on that when you said the cool beer.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of beer you be getting?
Sometimes I'll hit a Modelo. I don't really. I mean, Modelo is kind of cool though. I mean, I'm not the biggest Bud Light dude in the world,
Yeah.
but Modelo, or I stick with an Angry Orchard,
Uh,
or yeah, Angry Orchard. That's one of my favorites, or some nice wine. So that's what I would like to drink when I have a good meal.
hey, you had me on that Angry Orchard. I kind of
Yeah.
started. I started drinking that when I was in college, and there when we finally, I went to a small little private school, and that was like the first drinks they had there. I was like, let me try this. I like apples, and it's just kind of like a nice little apple flavor, little drink and stuff. Something that's cool and refreshing at the same time. So
Hmm.
yeah, definitely rock with that. But my next question is, how who inspired you, or what inspired you to become a sports content creator?
I don't know. I mean, I think I always had a huge passion or love for sports, like from day one. I remember it was like October 11th, 2010, one day before my 17th birthday. I went to a Minnesota Vikings New York Jets game. I had an opportunity to see Brett Favre and Randy Moss in person, although they were past their primes. Just an opportunity to see them up close in person. That was also the night in which Brett Favre threw 500 touchdowns in that game. So after the game, I'm heading back home, and I speak to a couple of Jets fans about the game, the outcome, and everything else regarding the season. And my stepfather, he gets tapped by a reporter, some Japanese reporter, and he says, "Is this your son?" Because he's spitting, he knows a lot of football, he knows a lot of stuff. He's talking, and he said, "Yeah, that's my son." And from there, I just knew this is what I wanted to do. And also watching ESPN, like I would always literally come home straight from school, watch PTI, Pardon the Interruption with Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon, and I would watch ESPN nonstop. I would always watch First Take when Skip Bayless or Stephen A are on the air. I watch a lot of sports debating shows. So yeah, I always knew sports was the thing for me to go. But not just sports, also some other things too, entertainment stuff. But I always knew that sports was my calling.
Yeah, and then it all just started with that one night, and now it just it's from here. You're doing great things.
Yeah, and also I started doing the sports content stuff during the pandemic. That's when I first started doing the stuff because, like most people during the pandemic, I was bored. There wasn't really that much fun or interesting things to do. So I figured, why not do videos? Why not do sports stuff? And then from there, I just continued on with it. And then I started to take it to a more professional level by changing my background, by incorporating different things. Now I'm over like 1,000 subscribers, like you said, on with the YouTube thing, and I just love doing it. It's a lot of fun. People appreciate the fact that I love doing that. They love seeing what I do, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of hard work, but definitely a lot of fun. Definitely something that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah. As long as you enjoy it, that's the main thing. Is if even if it's hard work and if you enjoy what you're doing, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. But
Bottom line,
my next question is, who is in your personal Commanders Mount Rushmore?
um, Sammy Ball.
Okay.
He was Mr. Versatile in my opinion because he was the quarterback, he was also the punter, he was also the safety. He can do it all. Then there's Art Monk. Then there's Darrell Green, and even though he only played for a short period of time, and he's one of the reasons why I became a Commanders fan, the late great Sean Taylor.
That's a great one right there. Uh, I I didn't really I know like the first three, but what was the first one again?
I think it's Sammy Ball. He was the quarterback of the team. He was the quarterback. He was also the punter. He was also like the safety. Then there was Art Monk,
Yeah, I remember.
Darrell
Uh,
Green, and Sean Taylor.
yeah, those are definitely great ones for sure. But my next question is, you know what is the NFL? I almost missed it. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. So my next question is not question, but I want to get into this playoff picture since we're getting on to that soon. This is like the last week of the season. I just want to get your honest opinion on how the playoff picture, because we have three spots on the AFC and then two
Okay.
spots on the NFC. So we need who do you think will we'll go on the AFC. Who do you think is gonna fill that fourth spot?
As crazy as it sounds, I'm gonna go. I think I want to say Houston. I'm gonna go say Houston. I mean, I was kind of thinking Indy, but I'm gonna go with Houston. I love what I'm seeing with C.J. Stroud. He's my favorite for offensive rookie of the year. I was saying that before the season. I love what I'm seeing from D'Amico Ryans, the head coach. Especially what they're doing post Deshaun Watson era. Jacksonville, I had a lot of expectations with Doug Peterson and the team. I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to take that next step up, but so far he hasn't. The Colts, so far, I mean, what they're doing, it's just amazing with the new head coach. Just how good the team has been, even without their rookie quarterback, Anthony Richardson. But I'm going to lean towards Houston. I think that Houston has the Colts at the Colts.
Yeah,
So this is a tough. So Houston, this is a really interesting one for them because early in the year the Colts beat them. Now that the Texans are at the Colts, Texans are looking to get revenge. CJ just came back from concussion. I'm hoping that the Texans could actually play. Now, unfortunately, no Tank Dell, but they as long as you have Nico Collins, as long as you have some other good weapons, I hope Dalton Schultz plays. But if the Houston Texans can make it good enough, I actually have them winning this one.
okay. So you got them getting in the AFC South.
I would love to see them win the AFC South. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. I have the Jags on that one, but with the next spot, who do you have at the sixth spot?
Either the Jags or the Colts. I'll probably still put the Jags up there.
Okay, and the seventh spot.
Seventh spot. That's tough right there. I mean, you can't rule out Pittsburgh. I
That's
mean, despite the fact with their quarterback situation, they still have a great defense. Mike Tomlin, still to this day, man, has never had a losing record under his
that's true.
watch. I mean, I don't know how he does it, but hey, he makes the most out of it. I'll still put Pittsburgh up there.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think that a lot of fans think that they need to get rid of Mike Tomlin but he's done some great things. Like you said, he hasn't had a losing record since in his whole career with the Steelers. And the Steelers ain't known for firing their coaches because they're on. That's the third coach in their whole history. It was
Right.
yeah.
I think
So
the biggest problem is just the quarterback situation, and Kenny Pickett. He hasn't been the best quarterback so far, and there were times I felt like Matt Canada was used as the scapegoat. Yeah, I mean there are even times without Matt Canada, Kenny Pickett hasn't played particularly well. So I think it just tells you it's just more of an offensive coordinator problem. But Tomlin's still there. Defense has been his signature, and he still keeps that defense there with T.J. Watt, with Minka Fitzpatrick, Joey Porter Jr. And in Pittsburgh, offensively, they have weapons with George Pickens, and Najee Harris. It's just a quarterback situation. It's just that who's going to be the new signal caller.
yeah, absolutely. We do got a comment from Brendan Ray. He said the Patriots are coming back. I swear.
Oh, they got to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, the Mac Jones project and the Bailey Zappi is not
You
the.
think Belichick getting fired?
I heard he was gonna get fired, but I wouldn't. I can't really think of who would come in to be their head coach or after Belichick. 'Cause that's some big shoes to fill after what he done for the Patriots. But I think there's time for them to move on at this point. I just don't have any head coaches in mind that would fit with the Patriots. Do you?
I mean, I don't know any particularly at this point. I think Belichick. It wouldn't surprise me if he would retire because think about it. You already won 6 Super Bowls. You already cemented yourself as the greatest head coach in the NFL. Although I think, and I've said before, that Brady has won over Belichick because without Belichick, Brady is able to succeed and go elsewhere. With Belichick, what's going to happen with him? I don't know. For the Patriots, are they going to look into a different direction, a non traditional direction? Are they going to look into a head coach from college? Is that something that they're going to be interested in to look at?
Yeah. Uh, he had on Bill loves football too much and to go away. I feel like he'll figure something out if he did retire from football. He'll
But
find something just to because like that has a good point that he does love football. It
right,
just that's not he don't love the limelight. He loves the X's and O's of football. I think he would find something in some type of spectrum.
the problem is with Belichick though he hasn't gotten ahead with the times.
Yeah,
And that's been the issue with a guy like Belichick. I mean, the reason why he didn't get ahead with the times is because of the amount of success that he's had. But now without Brady, and now that you're the head coach, and now that you're struggling, I mean, you're gonna have to try and adapt and try to do different things just in order for you to succeed. And look, he failed without Brady so far. I mean, you bring in Matt Patricia and Joe Judge to be offensive coordinators to work with Mac Jones. Whether Mac Jones was the quarterback or not, you didn't put him in a situation to succeed. And you have one of the worst offenses in the NFL. So, I mean, what does that say about you? And he keeps hiring people from his coaching tree,
yeah,
from people that he's familiar with, like Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, Bill O'Brien.
yeah,
You're gonna have to try to get somebody else, someone different.
yeah. Because like you're saying, he always keeps in his circle. He if he wants to keep coaching, he's got to get outside of his circle when it comes to the offense and everything. Is he just can't be guys that you. Oh, I've been knowing him for 20 years. He's been a part of my staff back and forth and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's oh, and he said, didn't mean to derail the show. No, you're good. I just wasn't expecting to talk about the Patriots tonight, but it's all good. Oh, but getting to the NFC. So, who do you have winning the NFC South?
I got Tampa. I
Yeah,
mean, they got the Carolina Panthers on the road. They should win this one. I was kind of disappointed in their performance against the New Orleans Saints. I thought Derek Carr overall played really well. I thought the Saints defense did a good job shutting down Baker Mayfield because before that game, Baker was on a little hot stretch. He was playing very well football. I have the Bucks winning this one. So I think Tampa should win the NFC South. I don't trust Atlanta at this point. And with New Orleans, what are you going to see from Derek Carr? Is he going to give you another performance like he did against the Bucks, or another lackluster performance? And is it over for Dennis Allen in New Orleans? So you got to ask yourself that question.
I know a lot of Saints fans that are ready to get rid of Dennis Allen at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, those two teams they need to look for. I wouldn't be surprised they should look for another quarterback, especially with the Falcons. They got so much talent offense, and it's just there's no creativity. You have a Bijan.
I think they need a new head coach. Arthur Smith, ugh,
It just yeah, he just keeps it so stagnant. But you have all this great talent, but you're not utilizing them at all. And then you
especially
get
Kyle Pitts. I
yeah,
mean, you drafted him fourth overall. I mean, and you still struggling to work with a guy like him, and then now you drafted Bijan Robinson as a top 10 pick, and you're having a hard time utilizing him. Desmond Ritter can't take care of the football. So what is it? Do you trade for Justin Fields? Do you try to get a quarterback in the draft like a Jalen Daniels or a Bo Nix or someone like that?
yeah. I would bring in a quarterback in the draft or Justin Fields would really reel in Atlanta Falcon fans because he's a Georgia kid and he
Yeah,
loves to run the ball. I think that it'd be a fun offense to have. But I agree with you. They need to probably go a new route with the head coach because Arthur Smith has all this talent, but he's not utilizing it well, and it's just time to move on. So the next spot is the. Do you think the Rams will beat the San Francisco 49ers this week, because the 49ers are going to rest, or do you think the Rams are going to come with the surprising dub this week?
I think San Francisco is going to play in that game because they're trying to secure that number one seed. They want to make sure that the road to the NFC falls directly to San Francisco. Right now, Dallas has the number two seed in the NFC because of their victory against Detroit and Philadelphia's loss to the Arizona Cardinals. Then third, okay, so I mentioned AFC West, NFC West, NFC East. Then
Up
you look
north,
at the NFC North, that's Detroit. And a lot of Detroit fans got really upset with that Saturday night game. We won't get into there. And then I think San Francisco's going to play in this one, but I think it's going to be competitive enough.
and I've seen that the Rams are going to start Carson Wentz this week, and I guess they're saving Matthew Stafford for the playoffs, right? Uh, but do
Oh, it's
you
been
think?
reported. I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
I seen that. Let me make sure it's true. I don't want to just throw out. 'Cause I seen it this week. Let me see. Yep, both the Los Angeles Rams and other posts are talking about that he's going to be starting this week.
Well, if they're starting him, then they've already secured a playoff spot. So they're going to try to make sure that Matthew Stafford and the first team offense gets as much rest as possible because they're going to play in the wild card. Now, if they play in the wild card game, are they playing against the Cowboys, Lions, or whoever in the NFC East South? That's the thing. They actually play against the Cowboys, even though that the Cowboys beat them and it wasn't even close. I do think it'll be a little bit more exciting to watch, though.
Yeah, because I think this Ram team when we played uh, earlier in the season are a lot different Ram team now.
Right.
They're playing with a little more intensity now, and they're kind of figuring out what they are, and that's why I wouldn't sleep on the Rams, even though we beat them and stuff because they got a reason now to try to play 110% against the Cowboys now, and you can and one of the things I noticed they'll try to do is they'll run the ball and try to test our run defense. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of my biggest things when it comes to that is just when it gets to the playoffs and teams that can run the ball well, they're going to test you. and see what you're gonna do with it. And I think that's one of my biggest issues with the Cowboys right now is this against teams that can run the ball well. But we'll see the last. Do you think the my question? Do you think the Packers are gonna get that last spot?
Who they play?
The Packers play the. Let me see. I have the Bears.
Yes, I think they should. Jordan Love has been playing much better early this far compared to how he was early this season. So I think he'll be good enough to get him going. I think that the Packers could actually make that spot, that last spot in the NFC wildcard game.
Yeah. So let me make sure I'm getting it right now. So you got the Niners, the Cowboys, the Lions, the Bucks,
Mm-hmm.
Eagles,
Mm-hmm.
Rams, and Packers.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of have the similar thing. I do got the Packers at the sixth spot, and I got the Rams at the bottom spot. I just see the Niners beating the Rams, especially knowing that Carson Wentz is going to start this week. So I know they're more focused on the playoffs than trying to beat the 49ers this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So getting into the next to the meat and potato of the show, what is all about. It's the Cowboys versus the Commanders this week, and my first question is, what is a key matchup that you're looking for in this game this week?
Deron Bland going up against Terry McLaurin. That's going to be interesting to see or watch. And then another matchup that I do want to see is how is Washington's O line going up against the Cowboys defensive line. I think this is going to be a game in which the Cowboys defensive line is going to do damage. And then when you look at the other side of the football field, Jonathan Allen going up against the Cowboys offensive line, and then you look at, and that's how I look at it from that standpoint. As far as like with the key matchups, I think the Cowboys should easily win this one. They should win this one because again, this is not the Dallas Cowboys team from last year heading into this season. They're playing much better. I think Dak is going to play well enough, and I just see the Cowboys winning 30-10.
Mm, hey, so my next one is what is the keys to victory for the Commanders would have to do to win this game?
Well, I think the keys in this one is run the football, try to get Brian Robinson Jr. the ball more. When you incorporate him more in the offense, it takes some of the load off of Sam Howell, and he's really more of a difference maker. The Cowboys, the only problem they have defensively is able to stop the run. So if you incorporate the run more, I actually think it can help out the offense become more balanced, sets up the play action. And you're not asking Sam Howell to do too much. As long as you don't ask Sam Howell to do too much, and as long as he takes care of the football, I mean, he's had 17 interceptions this season. So if you can play complementary football for this game alone, in which for Washington, there's not really much expectations, I think you should be fine. But I just don't see Washington's defense holding up. They are the worst defense in the NFL as we speak. So, and also too, the other reason why maybe Commanders, you never know, NFC East rival. Even though that the Cowboys have owned the Commanders, it's NFC East. It's still some people are going to consider it a rivalry, and then on top of that, Cowboys are on the road. This is not at home. When they're at home, they're a different ball. It's a different ball game. So they're not just good, they're not great, they're just dominant at home. On the road is going to be different. So I just think if we run the football more, play a little bit better defense, and execute our strategies, I think we'll be okay. But I don't see us winning. In which, if you're Washington, that's fine because you're going to end up getting a top draft pick regardless.
Speaking on top draft pick and you brought up Sam Howell. Do you believe Sam Howell is the quarterback for the Commanders, or do y'all think y'all should move on and try to draft a quarterback?
I think eventually we're going to move on. Right now we have like the number 2 pick in the draft. You know, whether Caleb Williams or Drake May, if they feel like Sam Howell is the guy, then you're gonna have to surround him with more offensive line to
Yeah,
protect him. It doesn't matter what quarterback you have, you're not going to succeed with that offensive line. There's just no way. And then of course you gotta address the pass rush because Chase Young, Montez Sweat, we traded them, so we got to get pass rushers, and then we're gonna possibly have to trade Jonathan Allen.
yeah. That's another thing. Is like literally going into the season, y'all had a really good defensive line, and then y'all traded some just to try to get picks for the future and everything. But I think that's gonna be the next thing. Jonathan Allen was gonna want out of Commanders.
He wants
So
out, and I don't blame him. And a lot of it has to do with his frustration with the organization. And remember what he said in that post game against the Giants. That right there could just tells you, okay, we're gonna have to trade him. He's been with the organization for 7 years. If the younger players see that, then guess what? They're going to follow his approach and they're gonna do the same thing. And if you're Washington with the new ownership with Josh Harris and Magic Johnson, you're trying to create a new culture. You're trying to do your best to move on from the previous ownership of Dan
yeah,
Snyder. So if you want to set and build a culture, a foundation that is conducive to winning, I think it's best that you trade him and you try to get something in return.
absolutely. You gotta have to keep a great culture, and especially with a new era in the ownership. So speaking on culture, if they fire, if they no longer have Ron Rivera, who's a head coach you would like to be the Commanders' head coach in the future?
Honestly, I would really like to see Eric Bieniemy, but I'm afraid he'll never get that opportunity because of obvious reasons.
Yeah,
And some people may bring up Ben Johnson, but they're gonna probably pay a ton of money for Ben Johnson. I don't know if we could afford that. But I would like to see EB get an opportunity. And if you can actually pair him with, just give him a chance at least. I mean, you never know unless you give him a chance. He comes for the coaching tree, Andy Reid. And if you're not going to find someone like EB, who are you going to find? Are you going to go in the direction for a college head coach? Are you going to go into the direction of somebody else? I mean, I've heard reports about Belichick going to Washington, which I personally do not want that to
yeah,
happen because even though he's around the Washington D.C. area, but still, it for them to hire Bill Belichick, it's like the New York Knicks hiring Phil Jackson. They're going to be blinded by his greatness.
yeah,
But what is he going to do? Is he going to change that culture? I mean, when they brought in Phil Jackson to be president of basketball operations for the New York Knicks, some Knicks fans, they were ecstatic because we get an 11-time champion as a head coach who coached some of the greatest basketball players in Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, rest his soul, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, that he was going to turn around the Knicks, who before Jackson, a moribund franchise. And look what he did with the New York Knicks. His record was like 80 and 166. Belichick with Washington. I mean, if we talk about what he's done for Mac Jones, imagine what do you think he's going to do to Sam Howell or any other quarterback that he's going to work with? What he's going to do, I think he's going to do his part defense. Defense has been his bread and butter. Defense has been his signature. But offensively, and then also too, if he wants to succeed, you got to stop with the do your job or with the Belichick way. That style, that way is not conducive anymore. And if you continuously do that with a new roster, a new organization, and with the new times in the NFL, all you're gonna do is you're gonna alienate a lot of people.
yeah. Honestly, I think they should go away from trying to get the great coach of pass and go and look at a young mind like a Ben Johnson, or just give Eric Bieniemy just an opportunity just to be the head coach. What's the worst that could happen when it comes to that opportunity? I I know a lot of people say he's not great at doing interviews and all that stuff when it comes to that process. I wouldn't know. That could just be some cop out. But the main thing is he's gonna coach his players hard and everything. If they don't like that, they can move on and go to another team and try to find players that don't mind getting first start. And
I also think it's because of Ron Rivera, because Ron Rivera admitted that there were some players from the Commanders, they were a little too concerned about Eric Bieniemy's intensity. But if you're Washington, considering the fact that you've been a terrible organization, don't you need that intensity, especially when you're trying to change the ways? Why not give it to someone like him? And plus, if you give Ben Johnson the job, you're going to have to pay. What's the market for Ben Johnson? How much money are you going to pay him? You're going to have to pay him a ton of money.
that's true. Because Detroit's gonna try to break the bank to keep him there with their offense, and and you got the offensive mind. It's just give him the chance to do it, and if it doesn't pan out in 2 years, you can move on and and but you would never know unless you give him the opportunity.
You never know. But people say he doesn't interview well. He's terrible in meetings and stuff like that. But former players like Jamal Charles, Tyreek Hill, they've said nothing but great things about him. The only negative person that said a bad thing about him was LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, if you take one negative comment between like a handful of positive comments, I think I'm kind of leaning towards those few players instead of just one. And
Right.
then you got to look at it when he was with the Chiefs. He was in the back end of his career, so that
Right.
that that face value is kind of a little low to me.
And plus, don't you think Kansas City at this point they miss him? Even though there have been a lot of struggles with them, particularly with the wide receivers, don't you think they miss Eric Bieniemy's presence?
You can absolutely see the difference between Matt Nagy and Eric Bieniemy's offense, and it's just like they don't really the offense just doesn't look the same how it was with Eric Bieniemy, and you see that he was a really vital part to that Patriots not I said Patriots Chiefs offense.
Right.
Yeah, but hey, I appreciate you both for being on the show. Before I let you go, where can they follow you and check you out on your show and everything?
Oh, the Sports PSP podcast. It'll be on tomorrow night, Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock Central Time on YouTube. If you also want to follow me, go follow me on Instagram, Sports PSP, TikTok, Sports PSP3, and Twitter as well. So just go check me out. Go like and subscribe to the channel. We talk more than just NFL and NBA. We also do some entertainment. We also do some music stuff. We also do some WWE, start benches and cuts. So we talk about a lot of different things. But yeah, that's where to follow me.
Yeah, make sure to get grab and follow. Yeah, and I love those start bench and cut. I actually got to see a couple of them. Like, like
Which one you like?
I actually like the one y'all did about the it was the beers and everything. Is just like outside the sports ones. I like those because I'm like, oh, I kind of it had me thinking, okay, who I'm gonna start and which one I'm gonna cut. There's a few of them, and I remember you did one on Selma Hayek and who's some other ones you had on that list.
The woman one, Jennifer Lopez, Salma
Yeah.
Hayek, Angela Bassett, and Shakira.
Yeah, that was one of the toughest ones, and then there was another one. I'm trying to think.
Oh, the previous one was Chloe Bailey, Sweetie, and Ice Spice.
Oh, I gotta check that one to see what y'all were saying on that one. I definitely want to
Well,
see
we
that.
we, we, we can't say it because I don't want to get you into trouble.
No, I appreciate yes, sir. But this has been tacos and touchdowns. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Peace.